All right, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? All right, looks like it's working. Um, yeah, so we're gonna start a little bit early today, a couple of minutes. I actually do have to make sure that I'm out of here. Melissa has an appointment at 10:30 today, so need to make sure I stay on track. I do not have the boy; he is actually sleeping already, so hopefully I don't wake him up by talking too loud. But we'll see. Anyway, thus this morning, pretty flat. Couple of retraces. Pound's kind of doing what it's supposed to be doing. We're seeing some CAD strength come in. Again, the CAD retail sales numbers blew it out. They were expected to do that. They came in even better than expected. So I think we need to start keeping an eye out. Put your ear to the ground. Let's start listening for some information, some data, right? Some comments about when they're going to start raising the Canadian uh, overnight rate. So I think it's there. The other fun that we've had this morning, obviously, is Bullard explaining why he dissented, why he believes 50. And again, I don't understand why they just don't put him in charge. Funny enough, Waller, and I was joking about this with Todd a bit too. Waller is over here being like, listen, the data is screaming at us to do point 0.5. It's like, yes. Why, yes, it is. I really favor front loading our hikes. Yes. Okay. Global events advocated prudence this week. That's complete BS. Um, that implies 50 big hike at one or multiple meetings. Okay, but if you do 25, 25, and then 50, it means you screwed up. Okay. No other way to candy coat that one. I believe we need to raise rates. Any policy norm would dictate that we should go higher than we are today. So yes, they fully admit to it. But again, it's like, uh, yeah, the science says do this, but we're just gonna do it a little bit slower. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. But I think it's absolutely hysterical that Waller's like, "Yeah, we definitely need to do it. Yeah." So, um, here you go. China's moving to weaken their currency again. Why? Because they want again. This is, you know, I had the same debate, and it's funny. You look it down here. Where is it? Lavrov's down here. Look, sanctions make us stronger. Everyone's like, "Oh, they're scared." Like Todd is like, "Yeah, we killed them." Like, no, we didn't. They knew they were going to have sanctions. And understand, like having a weak currency, you're like, oh, if the ruble's destroyed. Yeah, but if that was the case, why is China trying to weaken their currency? Why does Japan intervene to keep their currency low? Why? Because they want it for the exporting ability, right? And that's and really at the end of the day, that's why all countries manipulate their interest rates. Because again, as your economy goes bad, it goes down. And again, you strengthen it and weaken it based off of what you need your exports and imports to stimulate, right? If your currency is really, really high, it's great when it's a super, super strong dollar, it's great to go overseas, right? Because the dollar buys you more, right? But no one buys anything from the United States. No one travels to the United States when it's super, super high. Same thing. Japan keeps theirs low because they are an export nation. They rely upon exports. China, they love to keep their currency low. It's not free floating like everybody else. That's why it's not considered a major, even though they're as big as they are. Right? They keep it low so that way it's cheap to buy goods from there. Right? Russia is now attempting to do the same exact thing. So some people don't fully understand that again, sanctions have not killed them. You know, maybe they don't buy things externally, but if you think about the resources that Russia has, Russia is not some little third world country that they need the rest of the world to buy resources from. They have a lot of resources. The big ones that they're going to obviously be able to sell for a while are obviously, oil and energy, and the world can't live without them. Everyone's like, oh, we're going to be independent of them. Great. At the end of the day, it comes back to if, oh, I could buy Russian oil for this price, but I can spend twice as much to buy Middle Eastern oil, you're buying Russian oil. So it's nice that everybody says we're never going to deal with Russia. Great. Somebody that's willing to work with them. And there are companies that said we're not leaving Russia, right? There are countries that will absolutely, without a doubt, work with them. And it's this goes back to it's capitalism. We founded ourselves on capitalism, but now we're not going to believe in capitalism. It's just yeah, but again, according to Waller, the data is screaming, but it doesn't matter. The data is not screaming loud enough. So, but overall, I mean, nothing is related in ATR. The pound yen is close to 80. Dollar yen at 56 is not far off, right? It's not. I wouldn't say that. That's a horrible. It's not super super far. Um, Besides that, it's kind of flat, kind of slow, right? The only other news that we had today was that I guess President Z and Biden are speaking today. They're going to have a conversation today. right? Hours before they're going to have this call, right? That was 6 hours ago, so maybe they're talking right now. But China was like casually, "Hey, we're just going to send the one of our aircraft carriers through the strait." You know, casual, right? Um, but I mentioned this earlier too. China claims diplomatically, that Taiwan is theirs. The rest of the world actually really doesn't acknowledge that Taiwan is a separate nation. Um, so it is a little bit different than the Ukraine. You know, the Ukraine everybody acknowledged was an actual nation. It was a real country, right? Taiwan, no, not so much. So a little bit different. And question is, does this man? And again, I love the photos that they find. I think the photos that they find are absolutely awesome. you know, Russia, Lavrovs are always like super, super angry. The Biden ones are always kind of make him look crazy. Him, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna stomp that place. Look at him. I mean, it's very, very not arrogant, but like very confident, right? And technically, it's not acknowledged by the rest of the world. So if they go in there, it's kind of like, right? And it's the same thing. China's such a big nation; everybody wants access to it. It's kind of like, they, remember, China is actually committing genocide in some of the population inside of its own country right now, and nothing, and nobody's just, and it's just kind of like, yeah, we protest you guys, but we're still going to send our athletes for gold medals, and yeah, yeah, you're going to steal our technology. It's okay. You got a lot of people over there. We want to break into that market. It's okay. So there's every excuse in the world. Like the hypocrisy is absolutely unreal. But the difference is Ukraine was a sovereign country. Taiwan is not considered sovereign. So yeah, send an aircraft carrier there. It's not that's not what people in Taipei want to hear. So that's kind of the one hot spot, the drama point of the morning. Besides that, it's pretty pretty flat. Obviously the data is not screaming loud enough. So let's jump across. Let's look at some of these positions that we have set up here. So um, yesterday we talked about this little area up top. We were in an extreme, and it was a small zone, and it kind of sliced through it. It didn't even really matter. It looks like that first push through ate up everybody, and then we knew we were kind of an off to the races type moment here, right? We really kind of set this one up, and you can see that's exactly what it bounced off of was the last untested level, right? This was a tested, but it did push it to the brink, and then again, nice strong rally. That's what was the turning point. So, not a horrible trade. At this point, I think we probably do pull back down a little bit more. There's a few little areas in here, and again, it's Friday. I'm not super motivated on Friday to do much after like 10. So, literally, when I'm done this, I'll shut charts down for the day. I'm pretty much a Sunday night to Thursday type guy. So, you know, as far as alerts go, we do have an alert still sitting down here at 72.81. We've pulled away enough from right now. I mean, it's 85 pips. It's not going to trigger today. Um, Even if we have continued dollar pressure, which we should, right? I'm sure there'll be more Fed presidents that are going to be like, yeah, 50 is what the data is calling for. We just wanted to be safe this week. Um, yeah. Um, I'm sure we'll hear more talk about it. I think we'll have some dollar strength roll back in. So it's probably more of a next week type trade. So, if I had to make a call, I'd say Aussie dollar, probably more bearish today. Again, tiny hiccups, obviously hiccup there. There's going to be a little bit of a hiccuping and going in here. And then again, another level of basing right here. So a few little things that needs to chunk through. I'm assuming it'll come down, chunk, down, chunk, down, chunk, down, chunk. And then again, this could be a Monday or Tuesday based trade. Okay. Aussie yen. So Aussie yen ended up going all the way up to the top little section there. So, um, we were hoping that it was going to turn again. We really liked the way this was. It was lining up as a 50. It's like, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. It's a good one. And now it's actually the 6180 is going to have to be that area. Again, I think today we still have some continued weakness based off of what we're seeing in the overall indices today. I think it has the ability to go a little bit higher. And we knew we had some higher time frame levels here. Like I said, dollar going up is good. We're seeing some yen weakness continue through with the indices. So this is one of those ones that the yen is a weird thing, right? I keep mentioning it. So, um, right now, this is a proxy and a proxy. Gold is actually down, but yet the Aussie is up. It just shows you that the power that the yen actually has right now. So, eh, like I said, it's Friday. This market, both these nations are done. So this is literally a proxy fight with a proxy fight. So I don't really love it. I'd like to see a new top put in sometime soon, but I think this one continues to go up today. Like the Aussie dollar to come down because again the dollar strength coming into it, but this one it's kind of like it's a weak scenario right now. Not a whole lot of play in it for me today anyway. Euro pound. So I mean euro pound. We had it drawn yesterday. Talked about that level. Talked about I was basing, looking for the breakthrough of the base, and it's officially out now. So It's still got a little bit more room to run, right? We got a little bit more room to run. Only about 15, 16 pips. I mean, you're out of your 1 to 3. Again, parabolic retracement move. Talked about it yesterday with that price going up and stabilizing the second we broke through. Should have been long. So, I'm sorry, not long, short. Um, Easy is as easy was, or whatever Forrest Gump says. That was an easy 40 pip capture. Actually, it's up a little over 50 right now. So, not much more we can do with it. It's just retracing all the way back to the origin of its move. Looks very, very much like the pound yen. But this is that pound strength that we had talked about earlier in the week. And actually, I guess going into next week, we'll see where it stabilizes. We have the basing level here. I typically don't carry Harry Potters. I want to see if we open somewhere up in here, like above that level, I think it's still pretty valid going into next week. So again, we'll probably still hold this. I'll leave the alert on the 8306, but I do think we come down and we get back down to this 8330 ish range next week as well. Okay. Euro yen. So euro yen, we talked about having a couple levels up here. We're really looking for again, this is a yen trade. We're looking for some more help with it. Um, Ended up almost kind of doing. I love when people do this. It was a triple top. Yeah, it's a triple top. It bounced in, it bounced back, it hit this other zone, went back up again, hit the zone again, went back up a third time, and then ended up kind of slicing into it and then kind of pushed through. So it's really just trending sideways at this point. We don't really have a clean level until 132.20 up top. This is 3. I would assume that it breaks next time. It's just tested those levels so many times at this point. Which again, it's if you adjust it to near term, that's what it looks like. It did not break. It did not break from that push through. So yeah, unfortunately, right now we need some actual peace talk. When I say peace talk, I mean like some actual legitimate um, news headlines of peace rolling forward. And I think it'll be, I don't know, yeah, the comments we've seen right now. And again, this is what's holding back Europe from really doing anything. It has been like, oh, that there's peace there, but Russia's not going to settle for anything less than total victory. It's like, well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It depends what you define as total victory. Total victory meaning no NATO and you're basically demilitarized. Probably, yeah. You know, at the same time, if Zelensky stays in power, is that total victory for Putin? No. But if Putin gets what his main goal was, then yeah, it kind of is, right? Um, the big question will be: will all those people that left, will they come back? Right? I think that'll be the big question. And if they do have peace, then Germany's going to be like, hey, how can we still have all that gas? Right? Can you still can you still provide energy? Um, yeah, we'll see. If Zelensky was smart, he would definitely start taxing the heck out of that stuff coming through the country. Like, yeah, you can ship it through, but you're going to pay us for it, right? That would bring some legitimacy to the Ukraine. Give it some type of a true income, which is what they need. They need their own funds flowing in. They're not going to get handouts forever. Um, they're kind of in the handout phase, becoming like a proxy war. So, but anyway, I think euro yen. Again, we've seen yen weakness versus the pound, but here you're seeing kind of yen weakness versus the yen as well. But meanwhile, we're seeing the Aussie yen go higher. So again, it's proxy through proxies. I think as soon as we get some positive news, I think this one also starts to take up higher, but not really willing to sell it, particularly going into the weekend until 132.19. Euro dollar. Again, I don't know that anybody's surprised about this one. We were really trying to hold this one for profit targets, but again, 111.30 is what we talked about. 111.30 was right here. Again, you know what that was. That was the push from the parabolic retracement, and again, we pushed all the way back down again. Dollar strength. We talked about this yesterday. Pretty easy one, right? Whoops. Just hit a button and it disappeared. Gotta love when that happens. Yep, there we go. All right. Actually, I should take a picture of this one and put it over there. I gotta update that today. I'll do that later. This was one of the alerts that just came through. So, uh, yeah. I mean, I think this one continues to drop to the downside. We don't need these pullbacks anymore. We can pull that one off. We'll leave that one on. Um, where I'd like this one to, I mean, obviously some basing right here, right? Some basing, 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 basing. Actually, it goes back a little bit farther than that. Basing, 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 and then we got front run. So I think the overall target, if you guys are short right now, I think our target is kind of sitting down here at 109. 109.46 is where this one would be. And again, there's really nothing. There's a little. It was a wick over wick that kind of stopped it, but there's really nothing holding this one back at this point. It's got about another 60 pips. I don't think we'll cover 60 more pips today. This could probably be something that we roll into, particularly next weekend, or not next weekend. Into the weekend, where there's potential kind of pullbacks. Probably that's probably a decent level for a pullback. You can see there's a little base, a push, and then a kind of a retest, but the 23.6 could give you another selling opportunity. I'm assuming we'll get more comments today from people saying, "Yeah, the data screams that we raised. We did the right thing. Pat me on the back. Yeah, 50 is justified, even though we only did 25. Right? I think we're good." I'm on. Hold on one sec. Sorry, buddy. Mine just messaged me. So yeah, that'd be a decent level. And again, we'll see if we can get that. If it can rally up to that 23.6 at 10. By 10:30, I think that's a good opportunity for it to turn and roll. But besides that, yeah, waiting for the profit target to hit. This could be a bounce level. We'll see. I want to see what the gap looks like over the weekend. See what kind of headlines come out, right? But as far as euro dollar goes, I would say euro dollar for me is still more of a bearish mindset. Pound dollar. So super easy trade. Talked about this the other day. Again, parabolic move based off the rising interest rate in the pound. I said it would come back up again, and you can see it did. It came right back up. We're right at the start of the move, right at 156.56. Um, Again, yen is showing us kind of, for the most part, yen weakness. Again, pound strength coming in. It is a 0.75. They're going to probably do a 0.75 next time as well. The more that they go, once they break that one, I think this really becomes, I think it starts to accelerate higher. You'll see more money being pushed into this one. But again, super, super easy trade. You're out now with profit. Again, their market closes in an hour. There's really no point in kind of messing with this one. This is going to become a yen play versus a pound. But, again, you should be out. This is a big mover too. This is an 80 something pip mover from yesterday, so should have been an easy one to grab. I mean, they don't get much nicer than this. I mean, this is literally the definition of that parabolic move. Um, Parabolic move in the opposite direction that you would assume. Stopped everybody out, blew through all 12 binary 2-hour binary products, and then it did a parabolic retracement and went all the way back up to the origin of the move from where we started. So I think the big thing for me now is I'm looking for basing and I'm looking for a break above. If you really wanted to kind of say, all right, well, where do we clear this area from? And, we knew the area is a little bit higher than this, but I would say start focusing on this level right here, right? We know that that's the original level. I would say start focusing on, and again, we could put an alert on for this one. It's the weekends. I try not to put alerts on, but 156.72, right? Once it breaches through that, that's where we start looking for Harry Potter trades for next week. And I think, again, I think it's justified. This could be one that we take long, something early, some type of week long position going into next week. But again, do your homework. Ernest is awesome with that kind of stuff. He definitely does his homework. I mentioned it today that the first time you look at your charts for the week should not be Sunday. Do it, close them out because you never know where those gap trades are going to occur. This is a great opportunity where if we gap above and we pull back, that could be a great launching, long opportunity. But we'll see where we close. Pound dollar. So pound dollar, it got about 3/4 of the way up and then started to roll. Unfortunately, this is an easy one, right? Because we know the yen was there was no really kind of news that was going to move the yen. We knew that there was going to be pound one. This one, you're like, well, this one didn't go all the way up. You're right, it didn't go all the way up. Why? Again, this is what drove us down, but we know that again, dollar strength is a big thing. We raised interest rates. People are talking about raising them more. Bullard's talking. We're not as exposed to the Ukraine. Yeah, so it makes sense. This is basically you know, this is a bear versus a rhino is what this is, right? And again, the U.S. is going to typically, you know, it automatically has that, extra force multiplier. So it's a rhino with two horns, right? Is basically what it is, and it's coming back down. I think so. I think we have a hard time right now, at least today, getting through this little area here with these ascending candles. Boom, 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 4 in a row. Definitely some buyers in this area. And that's kind of what we're bouncing off of right now. I think eventually it can break through. I think it grinds through. Again, it's probably going to be due to comments later on this afternoon, not any more than that. I'd say for next week, look at this 130 number. Again, it's an area that we've hit multiple times. We've based off the very, very bottom of it. We do have an alert sitting there. 130 is a huge psychological number in the pound dollar. And again, understand it is a strong versus a strong. So that's kind of the one That's kind of the one kind of hard part on this one, right? And again, if peace comes in the Ukraine, right, that's great for the pound, but it's also great for the U.S. That was their excuse this week of not raising more than that was the Ukraine. If Ukraine disappears, they literally have nothing else. I honestly don't even know what they could come up with. Um, I don't know. Maybe then they'll shift to China being locked down, but by that point, it's Omicron. It should be over with. So I don't even know. I don't know. They are the masters of excuses, right? The data is screaming this, but we only did 0.25. Really? The data was screaming? What happened to like trust the science, right? Trust the data. Obviously, that doesn't actually matter, but sure, sure. So yeah, I would look for this one to maintain its shortness. Dollar CAD. We talked about a target being 125.94. God, this one got so close. And I'm gonna zoom in. I got to get the exact. So close. From where we drew the line, actually from where the line is, 1.2 pips. I missed it by 1.2 pips. 1.2 pips. So close. Yeah, so close. And again, maybe I screwed up the drawing of it. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I did get it. Nope, I got it on. So yeah, I missed it by 1.2 pips. All right, I'm only a man. I make mistakes. 1.2. Anyway, that was our downside target on this one. And again, is it justified? Yeah. I mean, like, well, wait a second. Where's this dollar strength coming in? Kind of hard to have dollar strength in this one. Again, oil is down right now, but we're still up over 103.45. So yes, it's down slightly, but it is definitely higher than where it was during this week. The CAD is finally starting to kind of rehinge again to it because again, they are making a ton of money, especially over $100. It's a big deal for them. And the retail sales today was great. You may say, why is it going backwards like this? It's like because it pushed down. The market was preparing for it. The market knew that it was going to happen, right? So of course it's going higher. Of course we're seeing the weakness. But yeah, 1.2 pips. Yeah, that's how I feel about the dollar CAD right now. Just so you guys know. Yeah, but Melissa is going to go there. I think in July. So I'm okay I'm okay with this massive weakness in this pair, right? Um, with Melissa traveling there, it's kind of like, I'm good with it stabilizing a little bit. So we'll see. I got to ask her. I'm like, This is always a fun story. So like, obviously Melissa has U.S. accounts and Canadian accounts. It's kind of like, do we buy your plane tickets with the Canadian money or do we buy it with the U.S. money this time? Which account do we use? So who knew that forex trading also had to do with buying airline tickets, right? So yeah, but again, we're kind of in extreme range, and like I said, this is kind of a strong, and we're going to be dealing with this a lot this year. I do think again, if this continues to roll higher, it's going to look like CAD weakness. It's really just more the dollar strength kicking in. Obviously, the dollar is a much bigger animal, so it obviously demands a little bit more attention when there's any type of positive news. I think the way to play this one, especially if you're looking to play CAD, is going to be more of a CAD yen. Because again, as the dollar goes up, it should, yen should weaken a bit more versus the dollar. Um, I think it's pretty decent. I think CAD yen will be how to play that interest rate change. It won't be Nadex. It'll be a pure currency play. So, but you guys know how to do that. But yeah, 1.2 pips. I was like, just this is proof. And again, that number's been there all week. This is just proof to Ernest that he is not the only one that this happens to. I know he gets upset every single time, but yeah, it happens to everybody, Ernest. It's not just you. Okay. Dollar Swiss. So as you can see, dollar Swiss kind of crank back and forth. We're looking for actually a break of the zone, right? It ended up coming down. It went in, it hit, it came down, and it ended up tagging all the way down here again. I'm not sure why it's only. Oh, I know why. Because it only made it to 1.275. So it got close. Again, hasn't broken it. Technically, I guess you're still in the trade. A 1 to 3 is right there. So I mean, it's super close if you wanted to carry this one over. But yeah, yeah. So I mean, the Harry Potter's in. We were hoping that again we haven't seen the dollar strength because again, it wasn't a point 0.5. This was if it give us a point 0.5, we should explode through the top. It didn't, so it will come back again. But right now, it's kind of again the trade is still on. It hasn't made it all the way. But it's funny. We talked about the profit target at the black line. You can see we've actually hit the profit target twice. So not surprising that it turned. Some of you probably took this trade. Like I said, it didn't have enough in for me. I think it was only what? Yeah, it was 30 to the first one, 43. So I didn't trade this one, but we talked about the breakthrough again, the drop, the pullback. But funny that it turned on the black line both times. So, but technically, it's still in. You're still in. You haven't broken out of the top if you haven't gotten it out of it already. Um, and we'll see with it being 10 o'clock. We'll see if it halts or not. But you know, it's all right. Like I said, I don't love this pair. That's not one of my favorite pairs either. But same strategy. Uh, dollar yen. Dollar yen obviously continuing to push higher. Mentioned this dollar strength. Yen is being a little bit weak. We're seeing that in other pairs, but again, it's a proxy, so it's a little bit hard to do. Um, I think all the comments we see, I think this one continues to rise. This is one of those ones that it's really grab it on pullbacks. I think it continues to do the same thing. Obviously, the yen is going to stay weak. The one thing about the yen too, whenever China starts moving ships around, the yen tends to also weaken a bit. Not that Japan has any fear of actually like being invaded. They have a defense force. Not that the defense force is like gigantic, but they are pretty well specialized in what they need to do. They have a lot of defensive capabilities, not many offensive. Although some of their carriers arguably could technically be more offensive. They used to have a lot of helicopter carriers, and now they're converting the helicopter carriers to, excuse me, basically, I forget what they're called, but they're basically like these mini Harrier planes. So they're able to convert directly across, and it gives them some offensive ability, but they're not going to invade anybody else. I mean, they have guarantees from the United States. Like, listen, you're limited what you can do, but we'll lease some hangar space from you guys. So, I mean, if you attack Japan, it's basically like attacking the United States. So, um, yeah. So, but I do think this one continues to rise. Again, not enough. I mean, this one has moved what 60, not 40. 40 again. It's pulling back a little bit, but 40 in 24 hours. So, um, it's there. I just don't love it that much. Let me see if there's a 4 hour zone anywhere close. Mm, you can see how long it's been. And this is what we're dealing with. Look, there we go. So the price hasn't been up to here since February 2016. And again, this is on a 4 hour. You can see there's a little hiccup just above, and that's probably what we ran into. But look at this. If we talk about, let's do horizontal. Here's like the next major peak, right? Where it kind of rolled back down. I guess we could make a case and say, well, wait a second, there's a little bit of an area right there too, right? Yes, there could be an area. That's how far away we are, right? So there's not really a whole lot in this one that's really holding it back. But these are two, 4 hour levels, right? Two 4 hour levels, and we saw that there wasn't too much there, and you know, 100. It's only 123 pips away, right? Let's see, daily ATR on this one. Daily ATR is currently at 73. So we're 1.5, 2 days away. So could we drive up in here for next week? Yeah, we could. But again, that's kind of you're playing a reversal there for the dollar. So yeah, I think we get up there. I do think we get up there next week. You see, cryptos are down a little bit. Let me take this off the daily. We're down a tad. I wouldn't say that cryptos are really, is this a trend? Not really. I mean, I guess, hold on. No, it's this one. Oh, wait, where is it? Oh, here it is. Parallel channel. Look at this. So, is it trending? Yeah, you could kind of say that it is going back down to 40. You could kind of say that it is, right? But as the interest rates go up for many countries, they're much more benefit to go there. So, honestly, with crypto right now, I think that the biggest thing the biggest risk right now to crypto traders is one, they were like screaming for regulation. I think it's great, right? Yeah, if you want to be legitimate as a just another tradable asset, like like you're a new metal, right? Um, you have to have the regulation. The question is, what does that regulation look like, and are they going to weaponize Bitcoin, right? Question is, will you weaponize Bitcoin? If so, it's done. It'll lose its value. Um, So, yeah, it's interesting. But again, this is showing us as a little bit risk off. But Ethereum's up a little bit. But I would, at the same time, is Bitcoin trending? A little bit. I'd say it's grinding, not trending, right? Ethereum, is it doing anything? No, it's going sideways. I mean, it's in its own. I guess I could draw the same channel and be like, yeah, there's like a channel here, right? Right? There's a horizontal line, and is it channeling? Yeah, it's channeling. Is it trending? Not really. So nothing really exciting there. Bonds are up a little bit. right? Bonds are up a little bit because the indices are red. People are like, oh God, it's risk off. Let's go into the weekend. Let's get guarantees. And that's why we're seeing it right now. Dogecoin, same thing. It looks just like Bitcoin does. Nothing crazy there. Oil, I told you guys yesterday I wasn't really into shorting it. That was obviously a target at 101. We hit it and kind of literally went back and forth. It did break and kind of pull back and give you a Harry Potter trade and went a bit higher and kind of ran into sellers. I'd say where oil is right now. I mean, there's no major headlines for it. FOMC really, the rate change really kind of sent it higher. We bounced off the 23.6. We knew that that was going to be kind of more of a trap level, and it did. And again, that's why it was in the black, not in the white. I said, you could if you really wanted to sell something, great, but I wasn't super enthusiastic about it yesterday, and it didn't. It literally just chopped back and forth for you, and then kind of broke through, and then now we're back at the same spot that we were yesterday. So, um, overall, definitely more of an oil bull at this point. But we knew we were going to have some profit taking at some point from the run up. 103 is not cheap. It's not 130, but 103 is a lot higher than where it needs to be. I mean, you can see, you know, just starting January, we're back in. Actually, what January we started? Where is it? January is right here, $75. So yeah, it's kind of had a good year to date thus far. So, you know, actually, let me see. We know that we got a 50 sitting up there in the middle of nowhere. Let's see. Let's see where we got. Yeah, there's a little hiccup right there. It's all right. I don't really love the trajectory of it right now. I mean, there is a little hiccup, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. And it's sitting right at $100. I mean, that's going to be $100 is right here, right? Just below. Here's $100. I'll show you. Right there's $100. We're sitting right at the 50. So it's going to be a psychological level. So right now, I would say, you know, in the grand scheme, I'd still say bullish. Today, maybe a little bit more bearish. See if it kind of ticks back down again. Can we get to $100? Can we drop three more bucks? Maybe, right? But again, remember, shortened trading hours. It's only got 4 hours left in it. It is going into a weekend. It will be a hot button. It's all right. It's all right. Natural gas. Natural gas is pulling back. Now, natural gas is still technically up from the European session. It took a big hit, and again, this was kind of that session rollover. We had that area of basing right up there. I'll just turn this yellow. And what happened? We rolled into a new session at 9:30, and all it did was kind of again drop right back down again. The session rolls are very powerful if you use them. Particularly if you're consistent. It doesn't work every day. Like obviously, like any trading strategy, there's nothing that works 100% of the time, and anybody that tells you that is lying to you. But again, when you're playing the percentages, because that's really how you have to do it. When you're playing the percentages, these session opens. I mean, here's a session open, 3 o'clock, provided a huge reversal, right? There's a zone, right? We had a big green, we had some basing, and then explosion off. It came back into that and started at 9:30 at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when the session opens in the UK. And what did it do? It shot it straight up. At the end of the U.S. or the Euro only session, when the U.S. trader stepped in line, we were also into an area of basing that provided a push down. And what did it do? All the way back to the other zone. Okay, so I mean, you know, I would never make any statements that's like, listen, this is the only way to trade, or this is the only thing that you can do. I'm never gonna. You guys know that I never make comments of this works every time. This is the greatest strategy, because that's the dumbest thing in the world when people say that this is the only strategy you ever need. But understand, this is a very powerful way to look at and analyze your charts. Again, session open in a 30-minute session open, straight back down again. So I mean, people talk about, oh, I'm here for, yeah, I look at charts, I broadcast, like Jack broadcasts all day. I'm like, why? Just, I mean, I get it. Um, it just everybody's different, you know. I'm a big believer. Figure out what you need, get it, and get the heck out, right? Um, I don't know. Have it work for you. But if you guys are looking for things that are not going to take all day long and you don't want to sit there, um, if you don't want a job, this is kind of best way to look at it. Gold. So gold. I like how gold is set up. Again, I'm glad that it punched through and went right back up again. That is not. It has not triggered a Harry Potter yet. And actually, this would probably be a little bit lower, but we're fine. We can leave it there. I'm okay with that. Um, I'm good with it pushing through. It grabbed the last little bit of buyers right in here. Actually, we can remove this now. And actually, the reason what I'm saying is, you see this green candle right here. I'm not going to change the width on it. I'm going to keep that same width. But I'm glad that it punched in. It ate the rest of them up. We still got a big push. I like this one again. A break of 1922. I need the confirmation entry. I needed to drop through. I needed to base, and I needed to pull back. And then again, short, 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 short. Um, yeah. So no different on this one. Definitely in the again. I may be a bull for oil. I'm a bear for gold. I think gold continues to fall and drop. And again, any good trading strategies you guys get or setups for this one, definitely post it. Not as many people trade gold, right? Um, it's funny. Gold is one of those things that it's such a I don't want to say powerful, but it is such a big commodity out there. It does really it has so many real world implications. But the crazy thing is, the only time we ever talk about gold, and like really the only people that ever really talk about gold are the people that are trying to scam you with gold. So it's weird, you know. And again, being when I was a financial advisor, obviously not a financial advisor anymore, but um, it's one of those things when you talk about portfolio management and what you should have inside of your wealth accounts and things. Um, it is definitely a very important. It is definitely a way to preserve wealth. Like it maintains your purchasing power. It's not a growth asset. It's not designed for that. People think that it is, um, but it's one of those things. It's pretty funny. It's just yeah. And again, even on the inside, there was always like we had a ton of questions, right? I always get a ton of questions, and a lot of people, even in my training class, it's like, well, what, how do we do with gold? Like, how much gold do we, what percentage of a portfolio should be gold? And you know, eh, the question always came back to, what are you doing with gold? Are you trading gold? Are you using it as like a tradable asset? Are you using the preserve wealth? Are you using it as an investment? Right? Um, like gold it's funny. You look at gold over here, and you're like, oh my god, in 1 year it's up 10%. That's awesome. Okay, well, what's inflation? How much did it really gain you? Like, what purchasing power wise, the things that you buy, is it actually up 10%? Right? Is it actually helping you? Right? Year to date it's up 5. Well, okay, what is inflation up? I mean, we're talking about in the UK right now, right? Second quarter inflation is up 8%. Well, if the year to date it's gold is up 5.5%, you do the math, right? So, um, yeah. So it's one of those things. It's kind of it's interesting the way that it works. And then silver, silver also, like I said, I didn't get to 24. Unfortunately, the market drove this down so far, and I was really, really hoping we'd get surprised and we get the right number, the one that the data was supposedly screaming, according to Waller, that should have done. Right, the data was screaming, but point 0.25 was too weak. And again, silver's like, yep, you're going to let inflation grow longer. Okay, sounds good. I'm game. But I do think we push back down. I think it comes back into the 24. I would say next week, the two targets for me next week for silver, I would say is 24.50 and then 24. I would say that these would be the two. I would say there and there are my kind of two targets for next week for silver because I do think it pulls back. Um, Buying an ounce of gold would be better as a hedge, wouldn't it? Yeah, I mean it's fine. I mean you can use it to hedge, but I mean, Briggs, that's a great question, and that's where it kind of goes back to like, what is your purpose of getting it? Is it to preserve power? Is it to hedge against? Like, what are you doing? Like, there are easier and better things that you could purchase. You can use leverage. You can there's many different vehicles that you can use now to hedge for inflation. Um, that people just don't know, and they think that gold. That's how we do it. We need gold. You need gold. It's like yeah, but I mean, if you look to see where gold was to where it could be, it's not like gold was the best hedge for inflation. I mean, just as something as simple as this. I mean, I'm not saying that this is what matters, but I mean, if you look, you know, and again, this is with everything. I mean, let's just look at let's look at it daily, right? You look to see where gold was, right? We're in what March right now. You can go back to March here. This is where we were last year. It was kind of a low, right? You can say, okay, well, if I would have, this was 2000, right? No, this was 1700 and we're at 19. So it's like, up about $200, right? You could say, well, wait a second. Look at something like Bitcoin. And what did Bitcoin do back to last March? Um, right? You can say, hey, right now, right? Look, you can say, oh, wait, where's March? You can say, oh, look at this one, right? March is right here. Wait, that was at 56. Now it's down. Oh my God, look at that, right? Well, but then go back farther, Go back a little bit farther and say, well, wait a second, what about the year before, right? Let's go to 2020. Gold was, let's see, 2020 right here. Gold was at 15. So it's like, wow, that's 400. Look at that. Wow, that looks awesome, right? And then do the same thing with something like, again, not that Bitcoin is the same environment, but then we go back to here and go 2020 down here. And they say, holy crap, it was at 8,000 March to here, 7,500, right? And even at 40,000, which is way down from its high, right? You're like, holy crap, right? So which would have won? Which one would have been better, providing purchasing power, right? But they're totally different. So it always goes back to objective. And are you trading the best investment vehicle for the objective that you were doing? Most times the answer is no. People think they know what they're doing, but the answer in reality is no. I mean, did anybody know that Bitcoin had the ability to go that high? I don't know. Some people called for it. Um, people are like, "No, it's dead. It's at 3,000. It's never going back up again." It's like, it depends. What is the objective of the people buying it, right? So now most of the experts never thought it was going to go that high, and people are still like, I still wouldn't purchase it. I still don't own it, but it's what is your investment vehicle? What is in the timeline? Why are you doing it? And that's why people don't get it. And again, silver's the same way. So VIX obviously down a little bit today. Again, not surprised that aircraft carrier went through, but obviously they didn't invade yet. And they're having a phone call. So as it's chopping back down again, as you would expect, all the indices obviously turned into the green. Dollar is kind of maintaining and stabilizing a little bit above. ES, again, ES is so we've done. Are we trending? No, no, but we did pull back down to this level. And what did it do? It based it. It hit it. It hit it, and then again, that was the takeoff point. So on a 15-minute level, again, it took off at 9:15. Actually, 9:30 is actually a little bit farther. So, would you have gotten into this one? Maybe. There's a potential for you to get in, and again, with it kind of stabilizing here, punching higher, you would have had to draw a new level, right? Here was your new level of basing, right? It left. It left based, and then again from 9 o'clock or 8:45 down, it opened up down here in that 9:15 range. So maybe you got into this one a little bit early, um, but overall we expected the VIX to kind of drop down today because there was really no talk once the market opened. So yeah, so this was an easy one. Again, another one of those 15-minute ones at the open. Maybe you said, "Oh, I did this at 9:30. I missed it by 15 minutes." You should have been looking at it ahead of time. With a base right here, a pull up, and then a pullback right before. Again, telltale sign it's going to go higher. NQ doing the same exact thing. Now, NQ would have been a little bit more difficult to grab. It was already in that base. It didn't kind of do the pullback. Should you have gotten in? Maybe, but I think this one was a little bit more difficult, only because it had been basing here forever. But it had stabilized it. It supported it itself. Not surprised that it was high. And again, does it turn and flip and roll back down right now? There'll be some profit taking. This is way too much movement that quickly without any true profit taking. It'll pull back, but can it go higher today? I think so. There's no right now. There's no headlines. Let's see. Existing home sales. Nobody cares. Yeah, and look here, China. Confrontation is not good for anybody. That's why you should let us take Taiwan and don't even bother doing, saying anything. I love the international community. We should value. It's funny. How about this? The international community said, he says the international community should value peace and safety. I believe that Putin was the one weeks before the invasion talking about how nuclear weapons should never be used, that peace with your neighbors is important. I swear to God, that's what we heard, right? Russia was the one out there talking about how nuclear weapons are so horrible they should never have been used. But yet, weeks later, they threatened that, hey, go ahead, get involved and see what happens, right? and now, and now China is saying peace is good. We should value peace. Everybody needs peace. I love this. What do? I'm going to move an aircraft carrier and put it on the bank of Taipei, right? And then hours later, hey guys, peace is important. We should all respect our neighbors. We don't want to see the Ukrainian crisis again, but it's different because we own Taiwan. It's our people, right? It's not acknowledged internationally. So yeah, it's not. If I lived in Taiwan today, I'd be a little nervous. But anyway, again, all positive news right now. There'll probably a pullback and it may close a little higher. YM, same thing. Again, we drew the basing there. This one also. This one also pulled back, and then again, 9:15 was the magic candle in this one. So again, you may or may not have gotten in. Actually, the base should be right there. May or may not have gotten in. Look at that. 9:15 is the one that moved. So it went a little bit early today, but kind of the same thing, right? We didn't expect any crazy news. We knew that there was nothing that we needed to, watch out for today. Again, can we get up to 34,500? It's Friday, baby. It's Friday. This thing rolls positive. It's the only one that's negative right now. This starts catching, some buyers in here. Could be decent, right? Could be decent. And again, it's pulling back right now. It is 10:18. Highly, definitely expect it. Russell, kind of the same thing. Russell, yes, this one, let's see, 9:15. Man, today was an early day for these. You can say, hey, listen, there's our pre-market basing, right? There is our pre-market basing. There is our one candle base top, our confirmation entry, our pullback. It did not go any lower. And there is your long position for the open. 1 to 3 is right there. Actually, this one is like a 1 to 6. Yeah. It's a nice little run. So, realistically, on the 15-minute setup, and again, if you guys haven't noticed, I'm trying to get everybody going to this 15-minute setup. This is definitely a trigger. So again, there's one, went a little bit early, but again, it gave you everything what it looked like. It was only about 5-10 minutes early, so you should have still made it. NQ, probably not, compared to some of the other ones out there. NQ obviously did pop off the base, but most likely you would have been a little bit more concerned about this one just because it had been here for so long. So this is probably, 1 for 2. YM, it gave you the pickup as well. And again, it's pulling back. It didn't make its 1 to 3, but again, another pop on that one, easy. And then again, obviously this one you were out. So 2 out of 4 you're out completely. One you'd still be in or kind of taking your profit a little bit early. One most likely you wouldn't have entered. So out of the 4, I don't know. Say 2 for 4, 3 for 4 maybe. Because again, YM is obviously did the base, the pullback, and the drop. I don't think it would have made it fully. Actually, you would have to put there to there. Let's see, how far did this one make it? I'm really curious now. Oh, did it make it? 3 is right there. It did make it. That's 301, and it did make it. So it was 3 for 4. I was wrong. It was 3 for 4 for the morning. So not too bad. And like I said, the one was a little bit risky. Had you gone long in it to try to take it, then yeah, it still would have worked out. It went well beyond. But yeah, so 3 for 4 again on the 15-minute setup. Hopefully you guys are following that at the open. Like I said, you can trade that in Nadex futures, whatever you want. It's a decent trade strategy. So particularly in a morning that there's not a lot of news in there to mess it up for us. So all right, with that said, a little bit early today, but it's Friday. It's Friday. I had to go early anyway. So let's go ahead and do our drawing. If I can get it in there. There we go. So Will is going for number 3 today. Hence why Will is throwing in big there. Neuro's going to mess with him a little bit. He won yesterday and got his 100. So now he is in his 250 mode, right? We'll see if he banks it in. We got 816. We got our typical. Let's see here. We miss anybody? Marina, Will. Ernest is in. Sean, Neuro, Debbie. Yeah, we're all in here. You know who's not here? Carol. Carol's not here today. Shoot her a message. I have a mentor appointment with Carol next week. I think on Wednesday. So she's doing pretty good. All right, let's close it down. All right, winner of today's drawing. Can Will go for number 3? Or will he be spoiled by Neuro? Winner is. Look at that. I didn't give her any credit. And she steps in and goes, bam! It's Marina. It was so close. Will's like, man, it wasn't even the guys. It was the girls again. I'm telling you, man, the girls with these 1 tickets, they're. And what's interesting about this, too, is Marina is right on his heels. So, again, Marina gets her 50 because I told you guys I would do 50 this week because I missed last. She's the closest one. And, again, not super close, 700 points off, right? But, again, the person that stops him is the girl that goes with 1, right? She goes right in there with 1. So, way to go, Marina. Sales fade to 7.2%. Yeah, nothing crazy on that one. So, yeah, and here you go. Look, it looks like pound is compared to yesterday is accelerating a bit more. Let's see what pound is doing. Yeah, it pushed through. So it's through. We're above. Now the question is, can we get that base? And again, I don't need to do it on a 15-minute. We're through that 156.72. Can we get the base now to go higher? Looks pretty decent. So, all right. With that said, I would definitely look at the charts later on today if you guys can. Like I said, I don't think there'll be a lot of fireworks this weekend. I don't think the gaps will be the same as they were 2 weeks ago, but I do think there is some potential for some positive news out of the Ukraine. do think there is some positive news that we could potentially get. So Sunday should be pretty interesting. With that said, I'm out of here. If you guys need anything today from me, shoot me a message on Discord. I will be around. I got a bunch of things I got to update. This is like hell week for me. I had to build the lacrosse schedule yesterday, but I will say that I beat both the organizations and the other kind of scheduling organizations in the area. I got my finalized teams on Tuesday. I had the schedule out actually. I wanted to do it Wednesday. I got it out yesterday. Both the other organizations have now sent messages and said we'll have it out on the 21st. And the one organization, the big one, the main one in the area, right? The guys who say they're the best, they sent me a message at 10 o'clock last night and says, well, we're looking to have the schedule out on the 21st. It may just be the first game though. And then by the end of next week, so that way everybody knows where you're playing next weekend. And then by the end of the next week, or by the end of the next weekend, we'll have the rest of the season out. I'm like, you suckers! I did 40 teams yesterday. I beat all you. So quite proud of myself. Pat myself on the back. So, all right. With that said, I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much again. I'll catch you guys next week, and happy trading. Have a good weekend. Take care.